After the months-long deadlock of intra-Afghan negotiations, the Afghan government and the Taliban finally agreed to initiate the long-awaited peace talks in September. However, the chances of peace returning to the war-torn nation are still hanging on a thread as the two warring sides remain far apart on even the most basic issues after almost 3 weeks into talks meant to end the 2 decades of conflict. Meanwhile, Afghan civilians and security forces continue to suffer from the brunt of a high level of violence by the Taliban. A report.
Taliban has not put a halt to an all-out offensive on the battleground. Dozens of Afghan security forces and civilians are being killed on a daily basis. Once again, a wave of violence left 5 security personnel dead and 4 civilians wounded in the southern province of Helmand. Earlier attackers set off a truck bomb in Afghanistan's eastern Nangarhar province, killing at least 15 people and wounding dozens, as violence continues in the war-torn nation despite peace talks taking place in Qatar.
بدي کې تقریبا 12 قسم ملکی خلک شهید لږ زنانه دي ماشومان دي همدارنګه یو د ملي امنیت کارمند دی په دې شهیدانو په جمع کې او تقریبا یو څلوېښت چې دي اوسه پورې رسمي زخمیان لرو او داسې دغه دي چې دا تقریبا د 250 په تعداد دي زخمیان دي.
Negotiating teams of the Afghan government and the Taliban are still debating over the ground rules and agenda of direct peace negotiations, which are widely expected to be long, complicated and grueling discussions. The Taliban want an agreement with the United States, which was signed in February, to serve as a pillar of future negotiations and want all issues to be resolved through a Sunni Hanafi interpretation of Islam, which is one of the multiple ways of interpreting Islamic laws. But the Afghan negotiating team wishes for a more neutral approach to encompass the diversity of the country that includes Shiites and others. Afghan government has also called for an immediate ceasefire. However, analysts believe the Taliban would not agree to a comprehensive ceasefire since their ability to attack and create chaos is what gives them the leverage at the negotiation table.
Many forces have been on the path to restore peace in Afghanistan. It has been going on for too long, 20 years. In fact, it is 2001, 9/11 when they had stepped into the Afghanistan. And this is the longest period of engagement, military engagement by the US in any place. So efforts were on. And I would say that if you look at critically from February this year, when Doha agreement was done, effort has been on to ensure that the peace deal is done.
Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump, who campaigned on ending ridiculous endless wars in the Middle East, took to Twitter to announce that American forces currently serving in Afghanistan will be home by Christmas. It was unclear if Trump, who is seeking re-election next month, was giving an order via tweet or reiterating a long-held campaign promise in order to appeal to voters. The Taliban, fighting to expel foreign forces and re-establish their Islamic State since their ouster in 2001, welcomed Trump's announcement and said it was a positive step towards a peace agreement.
In a way, it is a surprise also because it's an electoral time in America. But at the same time, if you see it critically, this is not the first time that US President has talked about withdrawing the troops from this area. But importantly, Taliban has welcomed this tweet and they've said it's a positive step. And more so if you look at it, since Doha agreement in February this year, US has already withdrawn the troops to the level of 8,600. 5 bases were handed over to the Afghanistan partners and all. So I would say that although it looks like that the time has been expedited, but at the same time I would say that this is continuation of the same effort.
As the Doha talks progress, the action in the past few days shifted out of Kabul, besides Doha to Islamabad and Delhi. Recently, Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani visited Doha with a high-powered delegation while Afghan peace official Abdullah met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi just after a 3-day visit to Pakistan. Analysts say that these visits are a part of an outreach to the key countries in the region for support for the negotiations between Taliban and Afghanistan.